Hi, my name is Monez. I'm illustrator. I would say thank you to Serif team for inviting me into this project, the Lockdown 2020 Affinity Creative Session. And I would share my background a little bit. I live in small island in Bali, part of Indonesia. And most of my work are inspired by the beautiful nature and also the traditional culture in Bali. And I really like to combine between the traditional and also the modern by creating illustration in my digital work. And most of my work are created on iPad Pro. And one of my favorite application is the Affinity Designer. And on this session, I will share how to vector inking and also coloring using Affinity Designer on my iPad Pro. Okay, let's do it. Okay, here's on Affinity Designer. I already prepared my sketch. So I choose to draw fish here. And to do vector inking, I choose the pencil tool. But first I go to layer and tap the sketch layer. On option, I lower the opacity into like 40% and lock the layer. And then I choose pencil tool and go to the stroke studio. As you see, by default your stroke is gonna be like this, but since there's a pressure setting here, you can change the stroke by tapping new nodes here and tap here and make it lower into that position. And as you see, the stroke is changing and it's make the tip of the at the end of the stroke are more pointed. And if you want both sides are pointed, you will tap here again, more nodes, and the beginning nodes is make it lower here, and it makes more dynamic and more like a brush pen. So it's really good to make stroke on this setting. And also my favorite setting is make it round on the beginning and more pointed at the end. Okay, let's begin to draw. Okay, first on Layer Studio, I will tap New Vector Layer. And on the context toolbar here, down here, I tap the stabilizer and change into like 13. And it makes our line is smoother. Okay, let's draw. Okay, as you can see in this time lapse, I'm using pencil tool with pointed option at the front and the back of the stroke, but it depends on your need. Sometimes I'm also drawing the stroke blonde at the front, and yes, it depends on your need. For this kind of illustration, for me it's easier and more fun to do tracing by using pencil tool than using pen tool. For me, this is like drawing with brush on paper or on canvas. And because this is vector apps, so we can control the stroke destiny and also its state. I love drawing fish. I am a fan of fish because there's so many kind of them, so many layers and colors, and we can add so many details when we draw them. And for this drawing, I don't take any reference from a photo or one kind of fish. I just make my own fish. In the TV or internet, we just watch maybe just only 10% of sea creature has been documented. So I'd like to imagine there's so many marvelous creature and especially many kind of fish that has not been found. Maybe somewhere in the ocean there's one fish just like this. For the tooth, I want to use pen tool because I want a stronger line. Detailing can be improved by organizing the stroke destiny or pressure profile in the stroke studio option. Okay, I think the inking process is already finished. Now we go to the next step, is to coloring. To do coloring, I also use the pencil tool but with different setup. Okay, here on pencil tool, on the context toolbar, the stroke, I turn off the stroke and choose use fill and choose color from here. Okay, and then I turn off the sketch and lock the stroke layer or the inking layer and tap new vector layer, put it below the inking layer. Okay, start to color, choose the color again, and then yeah, we can start drawing from here. Okay, here I block the color bit by bit. With this step will be so many layers popping up. But that's not a problem because when it's end, we can merge this layer becoming one single layer. For the colors, first we can choose the colors randomly. And will be easier to edit the drawing when all the objects are already filled with colors. For the object that has the same colors, I merge it into become a single layer. If there's need to edit one particular part, we can use nodes tool. Okay, here's I will back to the stroke layer and adding some details in the blank area and also changing the lips color so it will be balanced with the other colors of this fish. Okay, I think I'm finished with the first step of coloring. Now we go to the next step, is to adding highlight and also shadow. For highlight and shadow, I'm still using pencil tool and particularly for this drawing style. I'm using blocking technique for adding shadow and highlight. I'm usually just using 3 colors. One is the basic and the shadow and the last is the highlight. But we can adding more layer actually. For example, for darker or brighter color. Another best part of Affinity Designer is the pixel persona features, which means we can add pixel texture in our illustration. You know, before Affinity, we have to use several apps to do this. But here in Affinity Designer, we can do it all at once. This is absolutely a game changer and very effective, especially for designer and illustrator like me. And I'm using this vector and pixel merging technique in a lot of my project beside the blocking color technique. I'm oftenly use Affinity Designer to complete my illustration project, which need to be printed in high resolution and also big scale. Usually for festival and also for window display. Because it's vector, so the output is very flexible and easy to resize, even to become a very large size. In this eye area, I am adding 3 layers to shadow, from the darker yellow up to orange. For color option, for the last few years, I really loved and enjoy to put vibrant colors. I think I just want to make a positive and fun vibe. It's really tricky because I have to really careful to combine yet still give an easy and comfort look. I will put darker colors for the lips. For this tail part, I'm gonna edit it because I think I don't like the previous tail. So I go back to the stroke layers and make new tail. Then I add some detail at this tail layer. In this tail part, I'm using gradient feature to add some smooth shades. Then continue to add some stroke details. Here at the lower area, I'm adding shadow to add some dimension and also adding the frame. In this area, I'm adding some more details as if this fish is in the bottom of the sea. I'm also adding some highlight of the fish body so it will look more glowing. I'm also changed the stroke color from black to dark brown to make it more blend and balanced with the background. Okay, I think the coloring process is already finished. Actually, you can add more and more detail into this kind of process, but again, it's depend on your style and what you need to add into your drawing. And also you can download this file on the link below, so you can see my layers and also my original file. And thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Bye.